today. We got the Deadly Pit at an Astroworld concert. 2021 Travis Scott concert. There's a major incident. So we're gonna look at what happened. Let's get straight to it, bro.
I know you can beat it out and say
On November 5th, 2021, 50,000 people gathered in...
Wait, what?
On November 5th, 2021, 50,000...
Am I bugging? Wait, why does the stage look like that? Wait, no, wait, why does the stage look like that though? Why does the... Am I bugging? Am I bugging? Why does the stage look like that? Wait, what? Oh, nah.
People gathered in Houston for the Astroworld Music Festival. Unfortunately, not all 50,000 would make it out alive.
Travis motherfucking Scott, the greatest live performer on this planet.
At 9:06 p.m., just 6 minutes after Travis Scott's set began, the crowd had violently compressed towards the front of the stage. Getting pushed around at a high-energy rap concert is expected, but what was happening in the crowd's south quadrant was far from a normal concert experience because of the way the barricades were arranged.
I promise you, bro. So this is the way it happened. People could not breathe. I promise you, bro. 2020 to 2021 was something else. People were trying to get lit. No, this is not fun. This is real life. I promise you, bro. If you're over there not knowing what's gonna happen, if you're over there enjoying yourself, not being aware of what's going on, cooked. There was thousands of people there. Like, you guys are doing this over Travis Scott. Listen, RIP to the people that went there, even the little kids. This is sad. And this is to let you know, bro, next time when there's a concert, you shouldn't be glazing an artist this much. This is what happens when you get so excited over an artist. Facts or cap?
Fans in this section were funneled into a dead end.
I'm not saying glazing an artist. There's a difference. You can like an artist, but this type of glaze is like you're too hyped. That's what happened. Everybody was just trying to get lit. And look at what happened.
Wave after wave of bodies were pushing forward, causing people to get trampled, pinned up against each other, and fighting for a breath of air. For people like 27-year-old Danish Beg, who fell to the ground trying to protect his fiancée from the surge, or 22-year-old Barthi Shahani, who was pinned up against the barricades. The concert had transformed into a fight for survival. Surrounded by flashing lights and booming bass, they were completely invisible to the performers just yards away. But the disaster didn't start when Travis Scott came on. It started 10 hours earlier.
If you struggle with focus, this sound might change everything.
How about Chad?
The video you're seeing now is when the gates opened earlier this afternoon and fans did get a little too excited. You saw some people trip. Well, security and metal detectors were also put to the ground there. There was running, pushing.
This is what I'm talking about. People, the glaze was literally right here in front of your eyes. The glaze is right here. The glaze should have been discoverable back then. This is what glazing is. They did this over Travis Scott, over one human being, bro. They did this over one person. Think about it. They were so hyped, they didn't think one single thing in their brains. That's how crazy it is, bro.
Shoving. Some people even...
Listen, I'll glaze any chopper, but... Bro, there's a difference. Listen, there's a different type of hype you have. You can't be going around throwing yourself on the stage trying to be lit. Don't try to seek validation. Stop it.
got trampled over.
The Astroworld Festival grounds at NRG Park were approved for a maximum capacity of 50,000 people. But when those fences came down at 9 a.m., that cap disappeared.
honestly, the security people that were there, they're like, we don't get paid enough to like stop these people. That's literally what they told us. They're like, oh, we don't get paid enough to stop these people. Like, let them go.
On paper, the organizers seemed at least somewhat prepared. They had drafted a 56-page event operations plan and hired a small army of private security to work alongside the Houston police. But the massive security manual was missing one glaring scenario. It contained absolutely nothing about a plan in the event of a crowd surge or a rush. The entire security model relied on the assumption that the crowd would simply follow the rules. And if you know Travis Scott, that's not exactly what he encourages his fans to do.
All real Rangers fans, jump over the fence now and get here right now. Let's go. Security, don't you touch them. Don't you touch them. Security, back up. Let them over. Let them over. All you security, listen.
Let them over. Let them over.
If a fucking crowd surf, you let them. If they fall out, you put them back in there. You keep them out. All these motherfuckers.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, they are doing this for validation, bro. They are too hyped. Brains is just their brains just flowed, bro. Their brains just flowed out. They don't even know where they are right now, bro.
No security touches a Travis Scott fan, bro. That's not how we rockin', bro. You don't on my show, bro. Take your to the left. You fucking big earlobe, wearing fat.
Going off on security became a part of Travis Scott's brand. And not only would he try and embarrass the security guards, but he also posted on social media encouraging and glorifying violence at his shows. In 2015, Travis posted on Instagram a photo of a fan passed out at one of his shows, and he captioned it, "To the kid that didn't survive the rodeo, you're a hero in my book." And then just 2 weeks later, he posted another fan unconscious at one of his shows and captioned it, "Last day of tour was tonight very wild. To the kid who black out, you're a hero."
Listen, I'm gonna be completely honest, bro. Everybody has the potential to make good music, but when you get things like this, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I don't think you should become an artist. We know you can sing. We know you can produce great music, but it's about being professional as well. You gotta be professional because you're also working a job. That's my opinion. That's my opinion, bro. Like.
And then in 2021, right before Houston's Astroworld, in response to the show being sold out, Travis Scott tweeted, "Nah, and we still sneaking the wild ones in." Sneaking in is exactly what thousands of his fans did on that day, and to now, instead of 50,000 people inside the Astroworld Music Festival, the number of attendees was completely unknown. For now, it was still peaceful and everyone was having a good time, but hours later, the nightmare would unfold. The sheer number of people was a recipe for disaster, but the layout of the festival is what really ignited it. There were two stages, the main stage and the second stage. All 8 music artists that played throughout the day were booked back to back on the second stage, while the main stage remained empty. Massive artists like Metro Boomin, Don Toliver, Roddy Ricch, and Lil Baby all played during the day on the second stage. This meant that tens of thousands of people were all concentrated on one side of the park throughout the day, and warning signs were already growing.
Troy Finner, the police chief, went to visit Scott in his trailer during the day on Friday, as it was clear that the crowd there was was rowdy, but earlier in the day, so not when the sort of stampedes were occurring, but went there and sort of reminded Travis Scott that back in 2019, he'd also had an issue at his concert and there'd been some stampeding and some people injured, and sort of just, as a kind of mentor, went to talk to the younger man and say, just this is kind of the kinds of fans you have, they're very devoted, and just to be aware of that.
Throughout the day, law enforcement saw a clear pattern of escalating danger. Having
bro.
Day, law enforcement saw a clear pattern of
bro, they really had no clue. They were all just lit. Think about it. This is grown men.
escalating danger. Having seen the barricades overrun and the daytime crowds spiraling out of control, authorities were well aware that the Travis Scott headline performance was carrying a high level of risk. The tipping point, though, came at 8:30 p.m. when SZA's performance on the second stage ended. A 30-minute countdown then began on the main stage's screen on the other side of the park. Tens of thousands of people, plus all the undocumented fans, rushed across the park in a massive stampede to secure a spot for Travis Scott. But the thousands of fans rushing towards the main stage were running directly into a structural death trap. The main stage was designed to hold a massive crowd, but it was split into sections by metal barricades to create walkways for security and VIPs. As the people pushed from the back and the sides, the people towards the front had nowhere to go.
So we made it like to the front. By the time that the countdown, I think the countdown started at like 40 minutes. So it was just going down little by little.
It's one of those demonic. Oh man, no wonder, bro.
So every 10 minutes that I got closer, I'm not gonna lie, I did feel like, not paranoid, but I was kind of like, oh shit, I can't breathe. Cause it was just so crowded, so many people. And I've been to concerts like that before, but not that hectic, you know?
Gio was in the west quadrant, directly in front of the stage, which turned out to be one of the most dangerous areas of the concert. Because thousands of people were rushing over from the second stage, the west and south quadrants were becoming dangerously packed with people. And the concert hadn't even started yet.
And I think the moment that it really hit me was there was a guy that passed out behind me. And I can't even lie to you. I had this guy that was at least 6 foot tall. I turned around, I looked at him, and he was just starting to fall down. And he completely fell down. And I'm kind of like, oh shit. So I try to pick him up, but I'm like 5'8". And this guy's probably like 200 plus pounds. So I can't pick him up. I asked the guy next to me, hey, can you help me pick him up? This guy completely said nah. And then he went back to raging onto the show.
Let's go. Oh my goodness. Like what? Like what? Like people are really glazes. Nah. Oh nah, yo, that's it, bro. Nah, that's it. That's it. Nah, that's it. Yo, what type of mindset is that, bro? Oh my goodness, bro. Yo, what?
Travis Scott had finally made it onto the main stage. The 50,000 people were all so compressed that they started flowing like a liquid. If the crowd swayed left, you went left. If it surged forward, you went forward. And if you lost your footing, you were likely going down.
It happened from the very first song. We were all screaming to get out, screaming for people to jump over the barricade, screaming for security.
There's so much data. We'll be building models all night.
Nope, I'm using Satisfied.
There's so many things I've seen in this world, bro. This world is so cooked. No. Like, no. In all honest opinion, bro, this world has probably been one of the, the history behind what this world has, bro. You got some humans, bro, that's just I don't even know what to say, bro.
I stopped screaming because I just kept losing breath. I tried to preserve as much oxygen as I could, but everyone was screaming around me, so it was horrific.
At exactly 9:06 p.m., barely 5 minutes after Travis Scott had taken stage, police and fire department logs show that the crowd had already reached a lethal level of compression. Medics and security were receiving word that people were being crushed, losing consciousness, and suffering serious injuries in the crowd. The people in the South Quadrant were especially vulnerable because of the festival's barricade layout. Because the fans were funneled into this side of the stage, that left those inside the quadrant trapped on 3 sides. People kept pushing those in the South Quadrant closer and closer to the barricades with nowhere to go. At its peak density, experts later estimated that the fans in the South Quadrant were squeezed into less than 2 square feet per person. This is a level of compression so intense to where your arms are locked by your side.
It's an ambulance in the crowd. Whoa. is that?
At 9:25 p.m., a medical cart enters the crowd and tries to get to an unconscious fan. This is the first time that the concert stops. But for some, the intervention of the medical cart would be too late. 9-year-old Ezra Blount was attending the concert with his father, Tristan. Ezra was a massive Travis Scott fan. In this video, you can see Ezra on top of his dad's shoulders in the extremely tightly packed South Quadrant. Ezra's dad, Tristan, started having an extremely difficult time breathing, however, with how little room he had to move.
The crowd just starts going crazy and Tristan goes, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. He woke up in the crowd and Ezra was gone.
Tristan ended up passing out like many others in the South Quadrant, and his son Ezra fell into the trampling crowd below. Tristan eventually regained consciousness and began a frantic search for his son. Ezra was nowhere to be found, so Tristan frantically started pushing his way through the crowd, heading towards the medical tents to see if he could find his son. As Tristan was pushing through the crowd and the medical cart was still trying to make its way through the crowd, the South Quadrant was reaching its breaking point. 22-year-old Bharti Shahani was at the concert with her sister and cousin. Incredibly, this was Bharti's first concert ever. But in the violent swaying of the crowd, the three of them were ripped apart. Bharti was swept into the South Quadrant and pinned directly into the heavy metal barricades. With thousands of pounds of pressure digging into her back and the steel barricades in front of her, she had no room to breathe. She eventually lost consciousness from the lack of oxygen. While EMS crews were eventually able to pull Bharti out of the barricade and onto a stretcher, the damage was already done. By the time she reached the medics, Bharti was showing no brain activity.
We're getting told by the media person that there's a large group of people that are climbing their media towers that are in front of the stage, and that people are about to fall off, and that their media people that are at the booth are calling quote-unquote mayday requests to get out, and they can't get out.
As the situation spiraled, fans tried taking matters into their own hands. Sienna Faith and Aiden Cruz were filmed climbing on a camera platform, screaming at the operator to cut the feed and warning him that people were dying in the pits below. Finally, at 9:38 p.m., a little over a half hour since the concert began, the Houston Fire Department labeled this as a mass casualty event. This meant that the number of victims had completely overwhelmed the medical resources on site, triggering an emergency surge of outside ambulances and personnel. But despite this official declaration of a disaster, the music didn't stop. In fact, the most dangerous part of the night was still yet to come.
Slowly. We need somebody to help him. Somebody passed out right here. Hold on, don't touch him, don't touch him. Everybody just back up. Security, somebody help, jump in real quick, keep going, just keep it this way.
Travis stopped the show a second time as he was alerted there was an unconscious fan by the stage.
Somebody jump in, come on, security, get in there, let's get in there, let's get in there, let's get in there, let's get in there. Yeah.
In other areas of the venue, fans were chanting, "Stop the show."
Stop this show! Stop this show! This person was a really good friend of mine.
But Travis later said that he was unaware of those chants going on.
So they did pause the show 3 times, but it's hard to tell when a moment was, to stop and help. And then once you did that, like, literally the next song, like, someone needed help again.
Despite this concert already being labeled a mass casualty event, at 9:54 p.m., superstar Drake walked onto the stage as a surprise guest. This was like throwing gasoline on a fire.
This is so bad. This is one of them, this is like rage bait. What? Like, are we serious, bro? Are we serious? Drake came in as a surprise event. Are we serious? While all that is happening, he came in.
Fans who were already exhausted and suffocating were suddenly hit by a new wave of energy from the back of the crowd. While Travis and Drake were performing sicko mode, first responders were performing CPR on unconscious fans just yards away. As mentioned before, bearing the worst of it were those in a very small section of the South Quadrant. 23-year-old Madison Dubisky, who was at the show with her brother, unfortunately died here from the extreme compression caused by the pressure of the crowd surge. Close by, 27-year-old Danish Beg was trying to protect his fiancée as the crowd surge intensified. During the chaos, he fell in the crowd and was trampled and compressed by people on all sides. Danish also tragically lost his life that night. Axel Acosta, Brianna Rodriguez, Franco Patino, Jacob Juranic, John Hilgert, and Rodolfo Pena all met the same devastating fate in the South Quadrant. Their causes of death were all the same. The pressure of the crowd was so extreme that it physically prevented them from being able to breathe. The surprise appearance by Drake lasted until 10:11 p.m., but even then, the music didn't cut. Travis stayed on stage to perform one final song, Goosebumps. Finally, at 10:15 p.m., 37 minutes after a mass casualty event was declared, and over an hour after...
Huge. Hey yo, but I'll answer your question. My tongue is so big, I don't know. My tongue is just big.
The first fans began to die, the music had finally stopped.
But as far as like the evacuation, like it was like any other concert, like any other show. You guys have a great night. And then everybody just went out their way.
In the hours and days after the tragedy, the world demanded answers. Travis eventually released an apology video on his Instagram.
I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night. We're actually working right now to identify the family.
I remember this. They ended up turning this into a meme. I'm so confused. What's wrong with humans on this earth? Like I understand, bro. There is something wrong with humans on this earth. Definitely, bro.
Families, so we can help assist them through this tough time. You know, my fans really mean the world to me, and I always just really want to leave them with a positive experience.
Listen, I don't know if I can take it serious, bro, because the way is acting right now is like...
Anytime I can make out, you know, anything that's going on.
By the way, you supported this, bro. This is what you wanted, bro. Oh, man. Why is music like this, bro?
You know, I just stopped the show and,
bro, the old generation,
help them get the help they need, you know? I could just never imagine the severity of the situation.
The Astroworld tragedy remains a haunting reminder of what happens when the rage goes too far and the systems designed to protect us fail. It changed the way that festivals are permitted and policed in the city of Houston, but for the families of the 10 who never came home, those changes came at an unimaginable cost.
Basically, chat, what we learned from this is stop trying to hype up artists. This is bad, but this was a W video.